Hare Krishna. So we are discussing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam now. That's the series that yesterday Gopal Hari Prabhu started it off. So it's an opportunity for us to glorify the actual pramana that we have been given. So thank you very much for joining. I will begin with prayers to Guru Parampara. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantar Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Okay, so we are discussing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. I was wondering where to start, because even to a person who has limited exposure to Srimad Bhagavatam, we experience that we feel there's a lot that can be spoken in this topic. And so I was just thinking through yesterday night, basically, and the inspiration that I got was to see Srimad Bhagavatam in context to what we are trying to do in our, we have all taken up Bhakti Yoga, and what is it that we are actually trying to do in this path. Following a set of practices is something, but then keeping the goal while following actually it gives more perspective of the process and to keep moving forward despite all odds. So when we think about that, then the goal is actually re-establishing our relationship with Guru and Krishna. And to re-establish this, we have to first recover ourselves from all the coverings and all the obstacles that are like a network, like Wi-Fi around us. It's like it's not visible, but it's there. Some things are visible. External obstacles are visible, and internal obstacles are vaguely visible. But no matter what, these are like around us energetically. These things are, the obstacles are there around us. So I was just thinking about the entire, how do we move from where we are to where we would like to be, and what does it mean to actually see Bhagavatam as as the main object of shelter. Yesterday, Gopal Hari Prabhu was speaking about the verse Pravishta Karnarandrena. And he mentioned very beautifully that how Srila Prabhupada said just studying Bhagavatam is enough. That itself is pure devotional service. We do not have to do too many other services, actually. I mean, the way he mentioned is we don't have to do anything else. But since we are not very capable of just doing that 24 hours a day, then Prabhupada has designed our what do you call, like our systematically designed or suggested a design for our life that involves many other angas of bhakti, actually, so that our senses get engaged. If we are not able to just use only one sense, then he tells, okay, engage all your senses, right? So, but while engaging all the other senses, we heard yesterday that this hearing sense, Satchisuta Prabhu also brought up the topic of hearing sense is something that is so important to be engaged. So now we also know Prabhupada, how he said that this Bhagavatam, whatever words he has written, the commentary or purport, is a manifestation of his ecstasy in connecting with Srimad Bhagavatam. So studying Srimad Bhagavatam or reading Srimad Bhagavatam is also part of Shravanam, hearing, because we are hearing from Prabhupada. So there's multiple angles which I was thinking about how to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. When we think about it, we know there are 9 stages of bhakti that we all, every living entity has to pass through, from going from conditioned life to a Shuddha Bhakta life, So there's 9 steps or 9 stages. We know that begins with Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, and Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. We've heard this over and over again. But just knowing this names is not going to really bring us closer to it. And we get to know more from Rupa Goswami's teachings and Nectar of Devotion and all. What are the symptoms of these different stages? What happens in these stages, right? But now we know what happens and what are the symptoms and everything. But unless and until we see somebody is going through this, they're moving through this, it still doesn't resonate in a deeper sense. Then that's where, when we see Bhagavatam, actually is all about the different devotees who have moved through these stages. Sometimes we feel that, oh, they're all scriptural, but they are not scriptural. They are in front of us exhibiting their life, the history of their life, how they moved from point, like of Shraddha, Adav Shraddha, preliminary faith, till Prema. So I was thinking how much valuable is actually Bhagavatam for us. And these 9 stages part is described in this first canto, second chapter, the set of verses that are very, very glorious, which I usually recite as prayers. Today I didn't recite because we're going to recite as part of our discussion. It gives some level of clarity, this set of verses 16 through 21 of the second chapter. It gives clarity about what am I supposed to do to go through these stages of bhakti, because knowledge itself is not enough, and to put knowledge into practice, we need step-by-step guidance, or break it into pieces and then give me something to do. But interestingly enough, the give us something to do is just connect with Srimad Bhagavatam when we come to know from these verses. So let us read these verses that are so beautiful. And there's so much more that can be said. I know we are going to do this for maybe 30 days or something. I'm sure not everything, at least some little portion of Glories of Bhagavatam will come out and still the ocean of glories remain for us to discover or connect to by ourselves. So let me just share the screen for these set of verses. We all know these verses, but I still just want to... 1 second. Okay, so we're going to just read these verses. Sushusho Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syanmahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatita Nishevanat. So, Sushrusho Shraddadhanasya. So, Sushrusho means one who's engaged in hearing. Shraddadhanasya, with care and attention. What are we hearing? Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Vasudeva Katha, basically. So, Katha related to Vasudeva, Krishna. So, the verse tells that by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Something that we note here is serving the devotees who are completely freed from vice, great service is done. So let's just think about it. What needs do the devotees of such caliber have? Those who are completely freed from vice, conditioned life. What is their absolute need, actually? Their absolute need, or in terms of needs, but their absolute interest, I should say, is that Krishna Katha keeps happening. That is their absolute interest. That's why they even travel. Otherwise, they don't even travel to place. There's no need for them to. They're not here doing a world tour or something like Prabhupada did world tour yesterday. That topic also came up. And how Prabhupada, within 10 years, he did such a massive establishment for all of us. So, service means doing something the beloved is looking for, or doing something that's dear to the beloved. And if the pure devotees are our beloved, real service is doing what they are really interested in, or what they're meditating on. And the only meditation that's always sits in their thought process, in their heart, is how to connect this particular soul to Krishna Katha. How to keep speaking Krishna Katha, keep hearing Krishna Katha, or Srimad Bhagavatam, basically. So the absolute service is also to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and to read Srimad Bhagavatam. That is actually the greatest service to the pure devotees. So when such service is done, what's the verse saying? One gains affinity for hearing the messages. So whether we have interest or not, capacity or not, we just still park ourselves in the Krishna Katha zone. We just go and park our body. This is a lesson from Ramanujacharya also, that if we don't have any interest in if we have apathy in our devotional service that goes on, like sometimes we have dry patches. When we have this, what is it we need to do is just go and park ourselves, in the middle of Sangha where there is Krishna Katha going on. But even if we don't understand a thing, or if we just feel disinterested, these things can happen. At least I go through these, phases where I'm there, but then I'm not there. But no matter what, whether I'm there or not there, at least just park myself in that place. The sound vibration enters and it softens the heart, over and over again. It's like some people are like moong dal sprout or moong sprout. You pour water a little bit, few days there is a sprout. Some, or even some, it's not even some people. Some times of our life is like moong sprout or methi sprout, or those of you who are very good at gardening. It just sprouts next couple of days. But if you have to crack the avocado nut, I mean the seed, we have to soak it and the water has to keep dripping and dripping and dripping. And then there is a sprout, and then it takes time to grow and things like that. So no matter which phase we may be in, just by giving ourselves to the process of hearing, that is the greatest service to the pure devotees, as spiritual masters and Srila Prabhupada, then we gain affinity. The whole point of practicing bhakti is to gain that affinity, right? Because our prayojana is Krishna bhakti. And, so if you want to gain that affinity or attachment very strongly to the extent of prema bhakti, then the main service we are requested to do is serving the pure devotees in the capacity of hearing, just hearing and connecting to Bhagavata Katha. So then in the next verse, basically here I'm also going to parallelly refer to Burijan Prabhu's book Unveiling His Lotus Feet, where he elaborates on this particular set of verses for more than 5 or 6 pages. Yeah, more than 6 pages he writes this, and he elaborates how each of these verses actually are talking about different stages of life, different stages of bhakti, from Adha Shraddha to Prema. So the first verse that we saw, the 16th verse, where rendering service to the devotees, right? The pure devotees. That is Adha Shraddha. In Adha Shraddha, there is even a preliminary stage called Satam Kripa, like one serves the devotees. Kripa, one receives the mercy of the devotees. So that's where that verse is coming under. And then next is, as the bhakti progresses, what's the next thing? Shrinvatam Swakadar, because one gained affinity for hearing. Now we are actually hearing. Until now, whatever we were hearing is for this, just okay, we are just hearing. Now there is actual hearing gets awakened inside the heart, the actual hearing gets awakened. So what happens when we hear in an alert manner, even if we hear in a very passive sense, there is cleansing happening, taking us to the next stage. Bhagavatam cleanses at all levels. So cleansing happening to take us to the next stage when we are hearing passively. And then just the hearing itself brings us to a level of hearing actively. And what happens when one starts to somewhat actively start hearing or reading Srimad Bhagavatam is Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridi Antastohi. Anta, like full stop. Hridi Antastohi Abhadrani Vidhunoti Suhritsatam. So here, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of a devotee who has developed an urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So we see here that how urge to hear happens after prolonged hearing. Actually, if you wait for, okay, let me get the interest and then do it, it never happens. That's not the process of bhakti, that you got to be good at something and then you do. Like outside world, we get a job or we do the job nicely only when we have the expertise, right? We are hired only when we have the expertise, or when you have had training to some level that you're able to just perform. Basically, that's the outside world. And we have all been part of this outside world for a while. Then when we come to bhakti, many times we hear that I'm not ready yet to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me first do Bhagavad Gita. Or sometimes people say, I'm not ready yet to take the next step. I'm not qualified. It's not, I'm not ready. The fancy name is that we're not qualified. But the actual thing is that no qualification is the qualification to approach the process of bhakti. So when one feels really not qualified, then they feel like they want to take the next step and next step and next step. So therefore, hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam does not require any formal qualification. It's not like a cadre of something that we need to do before. So hearing and reading with least taste is the qualification. And it takes us to the next and next and next deepening of our attraction to hear or read. So here in this verse, Bhagavatam, we hear that when we just hear, when we develop some, okay, I want to just hear this, let me just attend, let me just hear. When we do this, let me just read. Yeah, I'm not doing that great, but let me just read at least a few minutes a day. Something we keep nurturing ourselves like this, then what happens? Krishna, who is actually sitting there as a supervisor in the heart, as an not super, yeah, observer in the heart, becomes activated. You know, he's like he's just sitting there. Unless we tell him, ask him, he also doesn't interfere. Not that he doesn't care, he cares, but then he does not take active role because he doesn't want to bother us. You know, so he waits for an indication. And once we start showing some interest to hearing Bhagavatam and reading Bhagavatam, he becomes activated and alert, you know, and he just becomes like an active participant, not participant. Yeah, we can say participant. We also have to participate in this. So he becomes active, takes an active role in helping us cleanse our hearts, you know, from the other engagements that we have. There parallel, so many engagements happen, but why are we here in this Bhagavatam class? Because Krishna has helped us to remove us from that other engagement and put us here. You know, so that happens. So first, hearing is the best service to the pure devotees. So that's where it starts. Satam Kripa. Next is now Gurujan Prabhu's book I'm just referring to. So after Satam Kripa, yeah, next is Mahat Seva. Those two are covered in the first, right? First 16th verse. Satam Kripa and Mahat Seva. Mahat Seva, the supermost service is to hear and read Bhagavatam. That's the supermost service for a pure devotee. That is done. Now, this particular verse says that when one does that kind of a seva of hearing, then our hearts get cleansed. So now next, let's see what happens actually. It's even deeper cleansing happens in the next verse. Nashta prayeshu. So okay, we have just sporadically had this urge. Now we are engaging ourselves regularly in reading and hearing Bhagavatam. So Nityam Bhagavata Seva, regularly, every day, little bit, every day, little bit. So when we do little bit every day, Nashta prayeshu, cleansing becomes really to a next level. You know, there are some level of cleansing where we do some, mopping and vacuuming and these kind of things. But then once in a while, we get professional people to come and clean. The whole house looks very different, right? So it's a next level cleansing. It's still cleansing, but it's next level cleansing happens where nashta prayeshu, it's just destroyed. What is destroyed? Abhadreshu, all the inauspicious stuff is destroyed. What is auspicious versus inauspicious in bhakti life? Auspicious means whichever connects us or whichever is favorable to our bhakti. Inauspicious is whichever is not favorable or does not connect us to bhakti, basically. So that all the inauspicious desires or inclinations are, they're just like kind of, we don't have to battle with them anymore. They're just taken care, you know. How? Nityam Bhagavata Seva. By, again, by serving Srimad Bhagavatam or the pure devotee, or actually a combination of both, in which we are very fortunate as Prabhupada followers. Because if we just study Bhagavatam, we are serving Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam, we are also serving Prabhupada, who is person Bhagavatam. Both get accomplished. If we study, if we hear, if we distribute, if we propagate this message to at least like 10-15 people, this is all service to Bhagavata, person Bhagavata, So when that happens, then Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, the personality of Godhead who is glorified by Uttama Shloka, transcendental prayers. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Now he keeps this bhakti in as an irrevocable fact. He becomes established in our heart. Until then, like he's floating. I mean, now he is not floating, but we feel that he is like on and off. But then now he's just like, hey, I'm here. He just becomes established firmly in our heart. So this stage is Shraddha. Then when he becomes established and we serve person Bhagavatam, what is the next step that we take? Guru Padashraya. We actively take shelter of a spiritual master. And then we continue in our bhajana. Bhajaneshu Spriha. These things happen, right? Bhajaneshu Spriha. When these, basically what, in the 9 stages of bhakti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, and Bhajana Kriya. These verses are speaking about these 3 stages of bhakti. And then the next stage we all know, Anartha Nivritti. So that becomes really, what do you call, Anartha Nivritti happens through, that's what is spoken in this verse, basically, Nashta Prayeshu, almost to nil, not like completely taken away all our anarthas, but predominantly taken away, sufficiently taken away to that it allows, we don't get distracted by these anarthas. They may show up here and there, but we don't stop our process of bhakti, we don't waver in our faith. They will show up here and there, because until we are in prema or bhava, these are not gone. So they are there, but then they don't distract us from the main course of bhakti. So verse 16, 16, 17, and 18, until this verse, it's all talking about these 4 stages predominantly. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and Anartha Nivritti. Then Nishta. So Bhaktir Bhaviti Naishtiki, right? So Nishta starts also when anarthas are predominantly cleansed. Nishta starts. Nishta internally, Nishta externally, both start, right? So what does it mean to be Nishta? Many times I wonder, what does it mean? I mean, okay, I'll be steady means what? I don't see that happening. So what does it mean? So then Bhagavatam is explaining to us, Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining what does it mean to be Nishta Bhakti, in Nishta. So the next verse, so we saw 16, 17, 18, and 19th verse. The next verse here is Tada Rajas Tamo Bhava Kama Lobhadayaschaye Cheta Eter Anavidham Stitam Satve Prasidati. So Tada, at that time, at which time? When the anarthas are sufficiently cleansed by just regular hearing, regular reading, and regularly serving a pure devotee in this way, what happens at that time? Rajas Tamo Bhava. Rajaha means mode of passion, Tamaha mode of ignorance. What does these 2 modes do to us? Raja means in passion. What happens? There's a lot of desire, hankering, like craving for certain things, like hankering desires are there. These are distractions. In Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur categorizes Raja Guna is distraction. It allows us to get distracted to multiple, or impels, not allows, it impels us to get distracted to multiple other things other than the shelter of Guru Krishna. So that is influence of Raja. And influence of Tamoguna is sleepiness and laziness and just like, apathy. So these influences, because despite these influences, we have kept adding Bhagavatam, keep adding Bhagavatam, keep adding Bhagavatam. What happens? The influence become less. It's like, for example, we have a pot of blue colored water or red colored water. You add 1 spoon of clear water, it looks like no change, right? This 1 spoon of clear water has become colored water now. Okay, you add 1 cup, that also has become colored. You add another bucket, it's still colored. But then you add more and more and more, or put this bucket of water in an ocean, so colored water, then it's not there. It's like influence of this color has dissolved, basically. So that's what happens. We don't have to get discouraged. Oh my God, my color is still there. Our goal is to be aware of the influence, but not live with them. Just add the clear water, and adding the clear water is the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We keep adding Bhagavatam. This is where we have interest or no interest, or we don't feel like it, we feel like it, no matter what we do it. I remember hearing from His Holiness Radharani Swami Maharaj long back that when you feel like you don't want to do, that's when you must do. That's how he phrased it. I am not telling it nicely. When they speak, it comes with nice, impact. But what he mentioned, what he said was that when you feel that you don't want to do an anga, specifically the core sadhana, you just somehow or other just do it. Because the analogy that he gave was, it's like a baby, like a newborn or an infant who who needs to have the feeding bottle. This Bhagavatam is like a feeding bottle. And then material energy does not sit there, right? We look there to material energy comes and pulls the feeding bottle out of our mouth. So it's like that. So we just have to be don't get discouraged by the seemingly no change in our life. Seemingly, I'm saying, because there's always change, but it's just not manifested fully that we can see the change. It's happening inside. So we keep adding more and more of Bhagavatam, more and more of Bhagavatam. So then what happens in Nishta stage? This impact of Tamo and Rajaguna is gone. So when it's gone, what happens? Cheta eter anavidham, without being affected. It's not said without having the impact of Rajo and Tama, you see, because until we are in this world, this impact is going to be there. But we may not get affected. So we don't get affected, anavidam. And what do we do without getting affected? Sthitam sattve prasidati. We just become established in mode of goodness. So as soon as the irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. So now we are in the stage of Nishta, right? Brujan Prabhu says that Tata, Nishta is covered in this verse. Next is what after Nishta is Ruchi. So next verse, I know we are 804, we'll just wrap up in a few minutes. So next verse is Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. So now we are in mode of in mode of goodness, unalloyed goodness. Now our mind has become enlivened and contacting the actual devotional service, which is Bhagavad Katha. Now we gain knowledge of Krishna at a deeper level. Not just notionally we know his Supreme Lord, but we are experientially knowing, oh my God, he is actually the Supreme Lord. He is actually sweet. No, it's not theory anymore. We just get to know this at an experiential level. And then there is stage of liberation. So this is categorized in the in Rati, after this Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti. This is Asakti and Bhava, this platform. Yeah. So Prasanna Manasa, the mind becomes very, very enlivened. So from doing Srimad Bhagavatam and studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So the next verse is, now in this place, what happens is Vidyate Hridaya Granthis. Now in text 20, actually, sorry, I have to go back. So in text 20, the previous verse, right? Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana Mukta Sangasya. 4 stages according to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Rati is or Ruchi, Asakti. And then Prema, there is devotional love. Yeah. And then Darshanam means we see Krishna face to face. That's when we get positive scientific knowledge, Prabhupada says about Krishna. And then there is Harer Madhuryanubhava. Like we experience the sweetness of Hari, actually. So all these stages, basically, until Nishta is the 16th, 17th, 18th verse goes from Shraddha to Nishta. You can go back and read this. It's amazing, actually, to just understand how Bhagavatam takes us from 0 to 100. So, or unlimited. We can't even put 100 as a number for spiritual circle. But anyway, so then 19th verse, Tada Rajasthamo Bhava. In this, there is the next level, Nishta to Ruchi, happens. And then in this verse, 20 and 21, there is Bhava Prema, Asakti Bhava Prema manifests. It's very interesting how the journey is just by hearing Bhagavatam and continuing to hear Bhagavatam. What happens? The last verse for today. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishwari. So thus, the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees self as the master. So that's the prayojana, the end result, that the karmic knot, because when the knot is so tight, you really cannot untie. You just cut it, the pierce. And we ourselves cannot pierce. We know, who can do it. That is Krishna. And Krishna in this age of Kali, Krishna Swadamo Pagate, right? He went back to at the end of Dwapraga, he went back to his Goloka Vrindavan. What's going to happen? That's a question. What's going to happen? Krishna has left. Now the answer Suta Goswami gives us that Krishna Swadamo Upagate. He went back to his place. What did he leave? He left our Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we want Krishna to act on us, we have to allow Bhagavatam to act on us, because Srimad Bhagavatam is none other than Krishna. And here in this verse, it's very clear, 1:341. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nishre Esaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasti Ainam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of God. And it's compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, who is also an incarnation of God. So it's meant for the ultimate good of all people, not devotees and new people, those who are not interested, nothing matters. So when we distribute Bhagavatam, this is a principle we go by. It's good for all people. We cannot judge if that person can receive or not, if this person can keep them or not, if they will give a nice place or not. It's none of our business, honestly, to think too much about this. We just want to bring Bhagavatam to their homes, and Bhagavatam will arrange for their heart to melt and connect. Because if we put our capacity in between the receiver of Bhagavatam, we are blocking the mercy practically. So that's another thing, that we can just go and give to anybody and just invite them to don't do anything, but just keep Bhagavatam and then you home. This is not like we have to somehow help people understand that this is not like a textbook or a storybook or a novel. It has everything. It has novel, it has stories, it has a lot of text. Bhagavatam has quite a bit of poetry. Bhagavatam has everything, but it's not just that. So when we also request and invite people to take, it's like we have to clear that fog from their thought process, or we have to assist, or we have to clear our own fog that, if they take and don't read, this is a common challenge people feel. 18 books, if I take and don't read, what happens? Am I committing a sin, you know. So no, this is not like textbook, other textbook. This is incarnation of God. So you keep this incarnation of God at home, at any place of your home. You don't, at least if you have vigraha, you need to have a altar and puja room and this and that. But this incarnation of God can go to you, go till you know, remain in your bedroom. I think I am in my bedroom today. If you see my video, I'm sorry, this is my bedroom. I don't read or anything all the time because it's just not, I'm not there yet, but Bhagavatam is there. So we just having Bhagavatam creates a level of connection with Krishna, because Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam for us in this Kali. You know, there are only two things, Bhagavatam and Harinam. Bhagavatam means book, and Srimad Bhagavatam and Harinam both have to be there. When both are there, it's awesome. And when Bhagavatam alone also is there, it's still awesome. Why? Because repeatedly Srimad Bhagavatam will tell us, remind us, keep on telling us, hey, you got to chant. Hey, chant some, Harinam. Because even to chant, we need inspiration that is given by someone. And that someone in our life is Srimad Bhagavatam. So with that, I think I should end, because it's a lot for a 30-minute discussion, but sorry about the delay. But it's wonderful. Actually, there's a lot of things that we can just discuss on such topics. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more morning and evening, hearing glories of Bhagavatam from everyone in the community. And it's still not enough, but we got this opportunity. Thank you very much. So taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, let's recite this one last prayer. Madeka bando matsangin, madguro manmahadana, manishtaraka madbhagya, madananda namostute. So this is Sanatan Goswami saying that Srimad Bhagavatam, Madeka bando, you are my only friend. Madeka bando matsangin, you are my constant companion. Matsangin Madeka bando matsangin madguro, you're my spiritual master, teacher. And Mad Mahadhana, you're my greatest wealth. Man Nishtaraka, you're my shelter or refuge. And Mad Bhagya, you're the greatest fortune of my life. Mad Ananda, you are the only one who can give the greatest bliss. So I pray to you to just always stay close to me, and let me stay close to you. Basically, Sanatana Goswami is offering prayers and obeisances to Bhagavatam in this way. But for me, I think we can offer to Srimad Bhagavatam a prayer that may you become my only friend. May you become my only refuge. May you become my teacher on an everyday life and help me follow my spiritual master. And may you be the greatest wealth, and may I not get distracted with other kinds of opulence, whether gross or subtle. May you be my constant companion, and may you be the only person who give bliss, and may I not find happiness in material endeavors. So with that prayer today, in front of all of you, I offer my prayer too. So in the Assembly of Vaishnavas, when we offer prayer, it happens as it's my faith. So I'm just doing that in front of you. And thank you very much for joining. And it's 8:15, but if you still want to share something, and if anybody wants to leave, you're most welcome. But if you wish to share something, you please feel free. And this is the book that I was referring to, Unveiling His Lotus Feet. This is a first 4 cantos, a summary kind of a thing that is Burijan Prabhu has written. He's one of the wonderful teachers of Shastra in our ISKCON, so we can you can just read Srimad Bhagavatam verses and his book where he quotes these verses. Then we get a different level of understanding. So thank you very much for joining. If anyone wants to say anything, please feel free.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danutana, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Uh, this is excellent explanation of a step-by-step process of how to, what to. This is a really kind of you walked us through what is the purpose of Bhagavatam and how to go and what happens in the end. It's a only reflection for me is I was thinking about how Arudha Mataji has has given to their children from their
Yes.
birth
Yes.
and how and what happened to them, and like we can see the practical
Yeah.
application in their
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Similarly, I was also thinking, my maybe at least now what we are doing, I'm not thinking about my parents why they did not do, but maybe that no, some people are fortunate, some people are not. In one way, that's a practical, kind of application, not application. It's a practicality,
Yeah.
and which we can see that people who applied in the beginning of their lives,
Yeah.
this is what happened. Like Prahlad Maharaj in the womb, he studied, he
Yeah.
heard Bhagavatam,
Yeah.
and became a Mahabhagavata.
Yeah.
So that's all I had. Thank you, Maharishi.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, you brought up such a, I mean, if you see the bookshelf again, the Srimad Bhagavatam and those tall books that are there, orange and blue and light green, that is Arudha Mataji's books. It's actually not just for children, it's so good for everybody. So it's very simplified to go through those exercises. And next to those tall books are Gauranga Darshan Prabhu's books. So it's my goal to go through them. I hope I do at some point in this life, but we just have to keep the books, keep the books. And just like you said, repeated exposure. Yes, some of us are not born in Vaishnava families or exposed to Bhagavatam from birth, but our birth has already taken place by the grace of our spiritual masters. So now we just have to add. Thank you for bringing up. Yeah, there's a lot of examples, like how you said, Bharan Prasad Prabhu, our Prahlad Maharaj. And when we are speaking about this, we think about Narada Muni. We went through the stages. Everybody went through these stages. We just have to see, it's beautiful. Anyway, sorry. Jyotirmay Mataji, you were unmuting yourself there.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Glories to Krishna.
Please accept
Sorry,
my.
can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, I'm outside. If you hear some background noise, I can hear.
Sure.
Thank you so much for um, articulating so well and taking stage by stage and explaining so well. Um, I have one realization because yesterday I've been constantly hearing that reading Srimad Bhagavatam is our main service. I'm taking up other services. So when we started this Srimad Bhagavatam reading or whatever, I don't want to use the term class in the morning, but we were all reading and discussing. When it started, uh, I was very picky in the sense, here to only whoever I consider like, oh, this teacher I like. This speaker, I don't understand them so well. So I was like using the filters, and so that's later I started realizing after hearing this message, reading Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is our main service. That slowly changed my heart. Then I was asking myself, am I really giving importance to the content or to the speaker? And then I started myself, even though I was not there yet, but I was preparing myself. That's okay. Why should I use filter only? This person I know very well, I'm very connected, I should hear. Oh, this person, no, not to my choice. Then I realized, okay, I have to give importance to Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna himself. Then I slowly started hearing every day. I was always taking inspiration from Lakshmi Kantachalu. Besides his business schedule, he's a full-time worker. Every day he took that as his main service. Okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes even today, you see, he put on, he said, Mataji, I have a meeting, I have to go. But still he did his service.
Yes.
So I was thinking, that's okay. Let me hear the content every day.
Yeah.
And each and every Even Lakshmikant Prabhu asked me, Mataji, you can speak. I said, no, I'm not there yet. But even hearing is so wonderful. All the devotees, they are sharing their hearts. So then slowly I started, what to say, relishing Bhagavatam. Hearing every devotee has their own level of realization. Okay, so when I say I'm not there yet, everyone has their own stories, right? To their capacity, they share so well. So what I'm saying is, hearing is very, very important. That really touched and resonated in me so well. And thank you once again so much for taking us step by step, as always. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you for sharing your journey, Mataji. It's very nice to hear how just keeping Bhagavatam in the forefront and not paying attention too much to the possible prior preferences and things like that, how you felt the heart actually just became very moved. Your heart is very moved, and thank you so much for sharing that. I remember you carried Bhagavatam with you when Prabhu went to the surgery. You just had book in your hand. So I'm grateful to know this kind of a what do you call faith that you have shown, and it's just nice to see. These are the things that inspire me. So also thank you very much for sharing.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories
Please
to
accept
Guru
my
Srila Prabhupada.
all glories, Mataji, all glories to Srila
I
Prabhupada.
am just thinking the physical distance is 2 minutes only is in between you and me. How come I am here? It's amazing, Mataji. Thank you so much. Many obeisances. It was put in a very clear and concise way, but you covered so much. Thank
I
you
know
very
there's
much.
a lot actually.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mataji.
but I mean, it's amazing the from here to there how you are covered so nicely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. I mean, you are one person. We all know how you every day sit in front of the deities and read Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna, there have been so
Thank
many
you for
interruptions, so many interruptions. I consider myself fall down still. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, perhaps we should end because I know that most of us here are working. Thank you very, very, very much for joining and praying for all your blessings. And Chintamani Mata, you want to say something?
Mataji, I was just thinking that unqualified, in addition to everything that everyone said, such a wonderful class, but the unqualified, I feel like that avocado seed, so much watering, and I'm still, but recently. I'm able to relate to it because recently somehow one avocado seed started to sprout and grow into a plant. And I was thinking, how much more water will I need to grow? But thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. I feel the same way. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
Hare
second.
Krishna Mataji, I want to interrupt. I wrote down avocado seed here. So
Yes,
just
I
to
second
start
Chintamani
that.
Mataji. The avocado and the color bucket example was very, very practical. Everyone can relate. So beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Avocado. Avocado, really, they feel so hard when you take it out. And yeah, I relate to my heart like that, but yeah, thank you very much for resonating with me.
Hare Krishna Mataji, then Pranam, and also the example you gave, there is no qualifications to join this group and
Yeah,
to hear the Bhagavatam. This is the only place they don't see the qualification, the lowest qualification, then we can progress more. That is
yes,
very nice, Mataji. That actually gives me so much of support. And recently I joined Vaishnavi group. Actually, Chintamani Mataji was surprisingly, temple for more than 12 years now, and still I just joined and I am listening the
classes over the Zoom, but I'm not in the group. But now I know what is going on and what is celebration and how we are all connected together away from the temple also. So this is so much hope giving and wonderful lectures I can give. I can listen anytime. Very nice, Mataji. And at the word you said, just park yourself in the khatha, that is actually me. I just come and sit there. So what is going on around, what is happening around, and how people you are serving the deities, that inspires me a lot. Even if I am not doing anything, I just want to come there and watch and sit with you.
Yeah, thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you. Yeah, parking ourselves in between Bhagavad Gita is the only thing from our endeavor.
Mhm.
Rest
Yeah.
happens, Krishna's grace, Like
Hare
Vaisheshika
Krishna.
Prabhu used to say related to book distribution,
Mhm.
just go and touch the pavement.
Mhm.
If you distribute, it's bonus. But you got to go out is the step.
Yeah.
So similarly, we got to park ourselves in the sangha of people who are discussing Bhagavatam. Rest is
Mhm.
bonus.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we should end perhaps. It's beautiful to hear more and discuss more, but we will end 8:30. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.